My family is so supportive. I mean, from day one, when I said I was going to do music, they were like, "You've been doing music, so go for it." But when I started doing reggae and I started really taking it seriously, they were like, "Okay, so where do we print T-shirts? We want T-shirts. We want a Rain Africa T-shirt." So they're so supportive. I'm sure they're listening right now, and they just let me be me. And I think for parents who come from a different age to actually be accepting like that, I'm truly grateful.
DJ Screw Live presents. Hello world, welcome to DJ Swoo Live. It's an entertainment platform where I get to speak to creatives that come from my industry. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I produce multiple music albums. I've co-executive produced multiple music albums. I've built a catalog of classics. I also have written books and done a lot of other things. But because I am a creative, I create. I create using my words. I write books. I author books. I create using my mind. I make music. I create radio shows. I create TV shows. I create products. I am a creative. Right now, I'm creating content for you online. And I'm quite excited that I'm with another creative who is an African sister who's conscious about who she is, comfortable in her own skin. She knows where she's going, and she is a three-time South African Music Award nominee. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Rain Africa. Wow.
Wow, what an introduction. I love that. I love it.
Dumelang le kae? Le nna ke teng.
Blessed.
I'm looking at your qualifications and not qualifications, achievements.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at your story. I'm like, actually, instead of me reading it to the audience, let's just have a chat. Maybe let's let the Barking, let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah,
But let me tell these people that you're not only a three-time Summer Award nominee, but you also are Val Music Award 2019 Best Vocalist, international collaboration with Italians from Jamaica, Cizla, the great Cizla, face of here. So you're also an entrepreneur. You also are very involved in your community. You're also a spiritual healer. A lot of people don't call themselves spiritual healers, but there's people whom you can see. Like me, people always tell me, well, no, you're a spiritual healer, whether you like it or not. So I don't know whether you call yourself that, but whether you like it or not, you're a spiritual healer.
yes. We do say words, sound, and power. So through music, we are able to heal people spiritually, and that's just what I'm about.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we get you more fire shapo? Can we get also coffee, water? Because not bato plum.
Bona mo fire isha. Bona.
Sure. I would honestly love for you to share with the world your story. Number one, congratulations with the South
Thank you
African
so much, DJs.
Music Awards nominees. Maybe let's start here, who you are and what you do, and then from there let's go back to where the story started.
So, I come straight out of SBK Val. I'm a reggae and dancehall musician, a creative, a visual artist, just a lover of people. That's just who I am. Three-time Summer nominee now. So it was three Summer nominees last year and then two this year, of which I'm incredibly grateful because, listen, reggae is here, and to be a female in the reggae industry is just, listen, it's happening. That's where it is.
It's beautiful that you would speak dancehall and reggae South Africa summer in 2022. Mm-hmm. What did the story start?
So the story started in 2015. That's when I started reggae music. I was doing gospel. I come from music, so I've been doing music ever since I could actually speak. So it started 2015 when I started reggae music, released my first album in 2019, 2020. Which was nominated. That was my first album. And from there, I can't even explain it. Like, doors just completely opened for me. And then this year, 2022, I released my album in January called Trailblazer, and then two-time Summer nominees. So, gosh, I can't even explain it. I'm speechless.
Yeah, but then I want to know where do the influences of reggae music come from? I mean, growing up in Zbukeng, I want you to take it back there.
Well, definitely coming from a gospel family, I do believe reggae is gospel. So having come from a gospel family, I think it's always been there. So 2015, when I met with Skeleton Blazer, that's when he heard my voice and he was like, you know what, you're reggae. So I was listening to Bob Marley, like you do at that time. So when I actually met a reggae artist that's really doing amazing in South Africa and internationally. I was like, man, this is what I need to do. And started doing different projects. I was doing singles at that time. And then, fast forward to right now. And it's just been an amazing journey.
What did you study?
So I studied BBA, media operations. I could not finish. But I always told myself that, you know what, music is going to open doors regardless. So I haven't finished that, but I am finishing really soon. So I'll be graduating soon. I'm so excited about that as well.
What introduced you to reggae?
So I met Skeleton, the likes of Skeleton Blazer.
Skeleton Blazer.
Skeleton Blazer, Karina Kotsabu, Madonza. So
you guys would also frequent Cool Runnings or Tandor, Yeovil, or...
I in that time I was not doing Tando, but I was definitely doing baseline, which also just opened, my eyes to actually the reggae community in South Africa. I did not know that it was like that, outrageous.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And how is the reggae community in South Africa?
Reggae in South Africa is just growing. There's so much love there. There's so much respect. Of course, it's still progressing, like I said. So it's got great potential. There's amazing artists, female artists that actually are within the community. So it's just it's just open.
Yeah, and are there joints or places that I can go to now? So in my generation, as I've just mentioned, Cool Runnings, the likes of Botandor, the likes of Baseline, we always knew there's certain days when we would go and experience bo Appleseed and Admiral and just that crowd, bo Ntwela kwako ko Yeovil ko Tando on the rooftop there, and some guys who are smoking would go smoke, would get into a spiritual self, and would just go through that experience once in a while.
Yeah.
But because it hasn't been mainstream in South Africa, but it's just always been that niche that always has its community that is just consistent, and it just keeps growing every year, and it's just there, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So where do I go right now in 2022 in Joburg?
So in 2022, we do have the biggest reggae festivals, like from Catch a Fire to Reggae Rocking My Roots. But on Thursdays, we've got Baseline. On Friday and Sunday, we've got The Zone. It's like reggae and dancehall, but that's all the way in Sebokeng for anyone who's in Sebokeng and might want to, come enjoy some good reggae music. That's pretty much it.
That's beautiful. So you're saying Baseline still operates Thursdays in Joburg?
Thursdays.
Is it like one Thursday in a month or every Thursday?
I think it's every Thursday, yeah.
Okay. Oh, that is dope.
Baseline was...
Yeah, no, I know. Let's get into your music.
Yes.
The type of artist that you are, what inspires your writing, your process of making music. Let's get into that space.
So basically my process in making music, listen... I live, breathe music. So me waking up, I could literally meet my dad in the dining room playing keyboard. And such concepts like Mudiwa Wangu, started with me just coming out and asking people to translate Shona for me, because I just woke up one day and I was like, but I want to sing in Shona. How can I be in Africa and not, experiment with the, the different languages? So for me, everyday life, is inspiration. Rastafari is inspiration. Love and life and what's happening in the world today, that's inspiration. I don't think you can ever, wake up and not be inspired by at least something. So yeah.
They say Rastafari is not just music, it's a movement.
Yes.
It's living it, it's a lifestyle.
It's a liberty.
And what do you understand about the origins of the Rastafari?
Well, Rastafari, so when we say Rasta, we're talking about Haile Selassie. So it can never be a Rastafari without Haile Selassie. So Haile Selassie is what we call the king of all kings. So that's where it starts, black supremacy, black love, black excellence. That's really where it begins.
So I visited Ethiopia just before the lockdown in, I think it was end of 2018. I'm not sure if it's end of 2018 or end of 2019. I think end of 2018, yeah.
Yes.
I went even to the Ethiopian Museum, and wherever I went to in Ethiopia, everybody speaks highly of what you've just said, that name,
Definitely.
Haile Selassie.
Definitely.
And I wanted to find out the history, and I started understanding that Ethiopia operates on a different calendar from the rest of the world. The rest of the world operates in the Gregorian calendar.
True.
And then I started understanding that Ethiopia is one of the only two countries in Africa that were never colonized, Ethiopia and Libya. But at some point, there was a very big war that Ethiopians fought against the Italians, and the Ethiopians won, and it was under the leadership of Haile Selassie.
And that's why we call him the conquering lion, because he's the one who defeated Mussolini. So, yeah.
Look, go deeper in that history, because I can imagine a lot of young people right now who love the movement, who love the jams, the music, the vibe, and I don't want to take anybody for granted out there. I know those are deep thinkers, but there's also some maybe who are just only getting introduced to it now, but maybe they want to know some more depth around Rastafari, the movement.
Okay, so not to get in too deep, but the core principles are, choosing life over death, just choosing to do good before evil, like good over evil. That's like the core, I would say, principles of Rastafari, and also respecting your black self and knowing that you are born royal and that you should treat yourself royal. When we look at Queen Omega, which is Haile Selassie's queen, we look into her example and see how she lived. She was a big giver. She gave to children. She was very much, I would say, a key factor in just his rulership as well. She was just as important, because we believe in also in the perfect balance, between a king and a queen. And we know our functions, as a king, as a queen, and we know we have to work together. So those are the core principles of Rastafari. Not to get too deep, because we are talking music today, and Rastafari is not music.
But it's part of it, right?
Part of it.
It's another extension or distribution channel of how we express ourselves out there. And I'm going through a beautiful journey. I mean, I'm in my early 40s, and so many things I've been learning over the past, let me say, decade, have opened me up into a lot. As I was saying, I was in Ethiopia at some point. I traveled to Kenya, traveled to Tanzania, traveled just finding out more about African history, traveled to Egypt, and also just finding out about our own South African history. And I'm learning so much from the great empire of Kemet under the leadership of Umkhulu Ntsengiza. I've been interviewing a lot of amazing minds around the spiritual space. I've been interviewing or having some chat with some people from the Rastafari community. And I remember on my younger days when I was running a record label and we were working with Mzegazeg at some point. We were also young and so ignorant. I grew up in the township, and a lot of the things that you would hear all the time, you're told about this holy herb as the bad thing, and it's just so engraved in your mind that it's bad. You get older, you start learning about what it means, what it is, the CBDs, you learn about THCs, you learn about hemp, you learn about the entire industry, you just learn about it being what it represents and what it's supposed to be, and then you're like, wow, we grew up so ill-informed.
Exactly.
And I was one of those who was so ill-informed that I remember I was in the studio at TS Records. Mzegazege made a song about Abu Mjaman, but on that song, the ignorance transferred onto the microphone where Mzegazege would made some lyrics which were not against Rastafari, but ignorant lyrics, where right now we're like, wow, we are older. It's like we're so dumb.
I know, right?
And a lot of us we've been lied to, but it's so beautiful that I think there's this beautiful awakening happening all over the world.
And we're relearning every single thing.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I do. I learn every single day. I give myself that space, to read, to learn more about everything. It doesn't have to be only about Rastafari, but just about myself, and where I'm from, being an Azanian woman. I mean, where do I fit in business? So I'm constantly learning on how to better myself as well.
Is it getting better every year in terms of to move in these corporate streets, in these meetings, in these music industry places as yourself? Because it can be very, very judgmental. I've never had hair my whole life. For the first time I started having hair, maybe just a little under 3 years ago. DJ Sbu. And then I'm like, wow, this is what people with dreadlocks and with afro hair go through.
Yes, we go through a lot.
I've been going through a lot of abuse. And a lot of people who are even abusing me, they're not even aware.
Exactly.
But I like the fact that because I'm on this journey of being so awakened, I don't take offense.
True.
But I understand that, shame, man, it's the ignorance that is out there.
It is the ignorance. I mean, who knew that Soft and Free would have products for, people with, females with dreadlock, or every single person with dreadlock hair that will use actually CBD and cannabis. Who knew? And we're 2020. And you can use products that actually have cannabis. So it's, the world is changing. Yeah, we're progressing.
It's a beautiful, I'm also going through that. The other day I was trending for my things that I'm going through and I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm training for talking about grounding, tsamakamaoto. It's not even grounding, that's like a fancy word. It's like, bokoko ba rona le bonkgono, they've been doing this, abokoko bethu, kuhamba ngeenyawo. Ukudila nama-plants, uku-understand imithi, iy'hlahla, uku-understand imbiza, ukhagana ney'hlahla. Yo, batho ba re ke a hlanya.
Hawuhlanyi at all. I mean, our grandparents always knew that we should use, our natural, let me say, plants and whatever, for healing. So now being a 25-year-old and only really getting into these things, I wish I actually paid more attention when I was younger. I think I could have been using CBD oil like from forever.
Yeah.
So it's the world is progressing. I mean, we are evolving, and that's a good thing. Yeah.
Knowledge on the food that we're eating as well.
Exactly.
There's becoming more and more knowledge. And I hear a lot of people like, yeah, Dr. Sebi, Dr. I'm like, oh, Dr. Sebi, ukhuluma ngento ukuthi kudala bokhokho bakho bona laba basesibukeng, they've been talking about this thing. Can uzopapa uzothi Dr. Sebi,
Exactly.
And I'm like, because then I used to get told these things. I remember someone killing Toana from playing disc, ko strateng, ubula fridge una no re coke, how can't take imbiza, And you're like, hey, imbiza, no, mina ngicela amapilisi.
That was my least favorite thing. Lekhala. And my grandmother would just, we'd visit and she'd be like, your parents dropped you off for you to come drink this glass of lekhala. And it just seems so bitter. But now, I think, we need to drink more of it. Definitely.
That is so awesome. I like the fact that you balance, you know who you are, and you're just going through this chain at a younger age. I imagine if I had to go through what I'm going through now at your age, 20 years ago, it would have been so beautiful, but I'm very, very proud of you.
I'm so grateful.
And you guys, it's your time, and I like the fact that you're not under pressure to do what everybody else is doing. You're just walking your own lane. You're doing your own thing at your own time, at your own pace. And now you're a nominee. I think that's very inspiring.
True. I'm so grateful. And thank you for having me here, man. Who knew that I would be here? And, man, it's a blessing.
Yeah, and I think this is only the beginning.
It's only the beginning.
There's going to be a lot of achievement that are still going to come. Do you come from a big family? How's your family taking everything?
My family is so supportive. I mean, from day one, when I said I was going to do music, they were like, you've been doing music, so, go for it. But when I started doing reggae and I started really taking it seriously, they were like, okay, so where do we print T-shirts? We want T-shirts. We want a Rain Africa T-shirt. So they're so supportive. I'm sure they're listening right now and they just let me be me, And I think for parents who come from a different age to actually be accepting like that, I'm truly grateful. Like, I'm truly blessed.
That is so awesome. And now let's talk about your nominations. Which categories are you nominated for and how do we support you?
So I'm nominated for Best Female of the Year and Best Reggae Album of the Year. So to support me is just to go online, post about it. If you hear a song that you dig, from the album Trailblazer, repost, man, take a video, tag me. Like, that's what we love to do. Like, we want the music to trend. So definitely go on my social media, like, share.
Social media is just Rain Africa, ne?
Yes, Rain Africa. So it's REIGN Africa, because Rain ya pula. So it kind of confuses people. So it's REIGN, as in Hubusa, or to rule and reign. That's it.
Thank you so much. I wish you all of the best.
Thank you so much, DJ Spoo.
I'm going to send you this video when you're older. Let's say 15 years from today, you'll be 40. So I'll
God.
send you this video. I'd like for you to speak to this camera, look directly into the lens, and you speak to your 40-year-old self. So we'll send you this video in 15 years. What would you like to say to that amazing lady who's achieved so much at that time? You'll probably have grandkids at that time. We don't know, you know?
You don't know.
What would you like to say to her?
So, Rain Afrika to Salieto. Honey, you have survived, Bona. You have survived so many things. And you've stayed true to yourself. You've stayed brave. You've been fearless through it all. You've taken care of yourself. I mean, you've picked yourself up through the toughest time of your life. And now as a 40-year-old, I'm sure you'd have a Grammy by now, maybe, who knows. But honey, you've made it.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And what would you like to say to younger girls, man? I'm raising a young girl, you know?
Isn't it?
My daughter is currently 8 years old. And every time when I look at you guys, I'm like, you are the people that are inspiring the generation of my daughter. And every time when I also look at an older lady, I see my daughter like 10 or 20 years from today, you know? So I see a representation of my daughter because once you become a parent, you think differently. So because I'm a father of a girl child, every sister means so much to me, especially sisters who know themselves and who are, I don't like using the word woke, but sisters who know themselves. It humbles me, makes me so happy. I'm like, wow, these are the people I'd like my daughter to look up to, you know. Yeah. My daughter is Waratwa, she's 8 years old. There's millions of other Waratwas out there. Others are still in their early teens, others are in their teenage years. What would you like to say to all those young girls out there?
So what I'd like to say is just don't be pressured. Don't be pressured into anything. Take your time. Live your life at your own pace. Enjoy your youth. You know, when I was 18, I was so in a rush to make it in life and just get into everything that I can possibly get into. Relax. Take it easy. Respect your parents. They'll never ever lead you astray. And believe in yourself. Every time when you wake up, look at your natural hair. Tell yourself how gorgeous you are, and definitely you'll prosper. Everything you touch will turn into gold.
Ah, that is so humbling and so beautiful. New music?
Definitely new music. So I'm still working on my next album right now. I'm also working on a joint EP with Skeleton Blazer. So it's gonna be King versus Queen on the same EP. But I'm also releasing a music video with John Moon from Germany. So it's called Just Like We. So that one I'm really, really excited about.
That is so dope. 3 favorite musicians of all time. Now we're talking legendary status. 3, maybe get tired, and let me say 5.
Say 5,
yeah.
Thank you. So definitely Miriam Makeba, Brenda Fassie, Nina Simone, Lauryn Hill. I'm thinking of one more. I'm trying to, choose one, but I will say Sade.
Erykah Badu or Jill Scott?
Erykah Badu.
Okay. Buju Banton or Peter Tosh?
Peter Tosh.
Bob Marley or the great Sizzla?
Sizzla.
So proud of you, my sister. Congratulations on everything. Yeah, I'll see you soon. And we are so proud of you guys. We're watching you through social media. We know we paved the way. So no guys. Go do your thing.
Thank you so much, TJSP, for having me. I grew up, following you a lot. So it's such a blessing to be in front of you today.
I'll be watching and cheering on my TV screen. Actually, I'm going to come to this year's summers. I haven't been to the summers in quite some time. Beautiful. Guys, young people are doing great things with their lives. They're following their dreams. They're not waiting for anyone to tell them what to do. They're hungry. They're inspired. And they're doing it at their own time. They're comfortable in their own skin. They're researching history, digging down deeper into who we are, where do we come from, and they're just expressing themselves in their own individualistic lives, in their own way. It's 2022, so be yourself, learn, read books, learn from other people, watch progressive and positive content, grow yourself, and also seek to know who you are. Go dig down about your history, your South African history, your African history. Go find out about your cultures. That's more important over time than all these things as asemhlabeni. So interviewing people like these at such an early age, so young, they're already on that journey. It's so inspiring. Some of us are going through that journey at our age, Kona Manje. I do know you guys are also going through your own journeys, your own struggles. That's why we do these interviews, to inspire you out there. We love you so much. We'll see you guys on the next video. Rain Africa. DJ Smooth Live presents